Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, to offend or not to offend, that seems to be the topic nowadays. I mean, first of all, God, we have this all-knowing, all-loving God that allows us, He allows us to give Him our backsides. He allows us to give Him the hand. He allows us to run from Him, to hide from Him in darkness. We have this amazing, all-knowing God that will allow us to make our own choices to go into darkness. And when we go into darkness, He doesn't cut us off, but no, He spends time allowing us to attain a very powerful, customized tool that only we can use, and that would be our testimony. And so, how can we, one, have this tool, this testimony, and not use it, and just want to love on everybody? You know what? I am just tired of this watered down, washed out, trampled upon gospel that the majority the majority of everyone is preaching and trying to give to others in the world, and it's not helping them. Because you know what? Giving somebody or convicting somebody is a lot different than them just having a Jesus moment or feeling bad because they're lost and they know they're lost. You know, all of this, well, love on them, and God has a plan for your life, and He loves you. You know what? God is a God of love, but He is also a God of judgment and wrath. And if you read His word, then you know these things. We can't pick and choose. We can't be those copy and paste Christians that can pick and choose what we want to say and what we don't want to say. God's truth is offensive. We're not commissioned to tell everybody of God's love. We're commissioned to tell His truth in love because we love them. And so, and if we first we have to love God because He loved us first. Then we have to love ourselves, because if we don't love ourselves, if we don't love God, we can't love ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, we can't love anybody else. So once we know this love, the love of God, then we love others enough to reach out to them and to tell them the truth. And you know what? I don't care if they want to be my friend and hang out with me. That's not my goal. Okay? And if that's your goal, then let me suggest that you are a far cry from the very righteousness of which God has called you. Because God does not call us to be to want to be people's friends. He calls us to tell His truth in love. That's it. That's what He calls us for. That's our only purpose here. And the very passage that says that we can do anything because of the strength of Jesus Christ within us, that obliterates any excuse we could ever have not to go out and share the gospel and to do what He has commissioned us to do. I had a conversation, if you want to call it that, this morning with somebody who was like, well, we're only called to love them and to show them the love of God. That's not what we're called to do. And if you believe that, if that's what you've been taught, then I suggest that you pray to God and you ask God to allow His Holy Spirit to dwell in you and to lead you and guide you in your studying of His Word. Because His Word does not tell us that we are commissioned to show the love of God. His Word tells us that we are commissioned to tell His truth in love because we love. And so you might think that they're one and the same, but they're not. Because this watered down gospel that the majority of these Christians are spewing to people isn't the true gospel. And the truth isn't the truth without all of the truth, without 100% truth. Because the best way for the devil to deceive each and every one of us is to give us a whole lot of truth and then to work one or two little lies in there, because then it becomes untruth. You know, it's like with different religions. Oh, well, they have, you know, they have some truth, and so they are helping. No, some truth is not the truth. That's like being a little bit pregnant. You know, or I mean, really, some truth is not the truth. The truth is the truth as a whole. 100% truth is truth. That's what truth is. And when I saw this morning, so many people sent it to me. Even my aunt in Canada sent me this cover of the National Geographic magazine, the next one, for January, with a little boy. And then they, on their website, they have the nerve to say, why, this is the reasons why we placed a transgender girl. There's no girl on the cover of that magazine. That's a boy. What is wrong with you people? This right here, this is, for one, National Geographic has just exploited that little boy. The very image itself, if anyone really has lived in that darkness, that very image itself suggests child pornography. Okay? Just look at the staging. Look at the body language. That very image itself screams child pornography. And it's exploiting that little boy, and whoever that little boy's parents are, they should be so ashamed to even call themselves parents, because they are not parents. A parent loves their child and protects them from darkness and danger. How dare you allow your child to determine that they're not happy with their sex, that they were born? How dare you allow a child to make these types of decisions? Isn't that what being a parent is? Making the right and correct choices for your children? I praise God I didn't have children. I really do, because when I lived in darkness, I would have, who knows what would have happened to my children. They could have been I would have let them choose whatever they wanted to choose. But how dare a parent allow their child to make that kind of decision? As a parent, if you truly love and care about your child, then you sure as heck better lead them and guide them in the right direction and be making these choices for them. This is that image and that cover. That is what this world, not just this country and this nation, but that's what this world is coming to. That's what this world is all about. And that's what the devil is loving every single minute of it, because you know what? The devil's whole focus all along has been to get his talents into the children, and now he has them in there, and he has the access that he's been desiring and been trying to get for all these many years. Because now, you know, gosh, for the past, since 2012, it was around that time when pedophilia became a sexual orientation and became a and for some they were calling it a disorder, not a crime. You know, but it went from being a disorder to a sexual orientation. What is wrong with you people? I mean, really, what is wrong with people? Anybody, even as being lost and being in the world, I knew what was wrong. My conscience told me what was wrong. I may have did it, regardless of whether it was wrong or not, but I knew it was wrong. But now there's this generation, or the past two generations maybe, that they don't have a clue what's right or wrong. Because they're taught that whatever you feel is right. Whatever you feel is okay. And that's a lie from the pits of hell. And before I lose my signal, I'm going to end this video, because I'm going to pick it up later on in a little while. And I just want to say I love you all. And I truly pray and for everybody to know, to let go of this watered down, washed out trampled upon gospel that's being preached nowadays. This is getting sickening. Because you can sit there and say, love on them all you want, but you're not loving them if you're not telling them the truth. If you're not offending them with the truth of God, you don't love them. So don't sit there and claim to love anybody if you can't offend somebody with the truth. Because that's loving them. Loving them enough to have them walk out of your life because you're not selfish enough to really care if they want to be your friend or your pal or not. You're loving them to death, literally. And that's a worldly love. That's the love that most of these parents have right now with their children. They're loving them to death. They're loving them straight to hell. And if people, and if Christians, true Christians, don't start standing up and stepping up and speaking out, then guess what? Then they're all doomed. Okay? God wills that everyone should be saved. And if God wills that everyone should be saved, then we sure as heck better be doing all we can to accomplish that. You all have a blessed day. I love you all. God bless you and peace.